Bronx Today continues here from the Flying T Studio. Thanks for joining us. Boy, we've looked forward to this conversation. Right now, he's the assistant coach, recruiting coordinator. We're just going to call him Baseball Guru. If you would, welcome John Dilarua to the program from TCU Baseball. Johnny, good to see you, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Grab a seat. Got a little Richard's rainwater here for you.
Very nice introduction. I don't know about the guru of
No,
baseball.
that's what, I was talking with Brandy Davidson, who's the PR director for TCU Baseball, and she said go with that. I said, all right.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awful nice of her, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, tell me, so we're kind of in the middle of it right now. You're coming off the midweek game with Incarnate Word. You got another big series. Give me some sense of the psyche of your group right now. How's everybody feeling?
We're feeling good. We feel like, we can control our own destiny here the last couple weeks. And have there been ups and downs? Sure. But I think that's baseball. And, we're trying to push through it. And the guys are doing a great job. And, it matters for us how we finish, these last couple weeks. So regardless of what's happened, the last few weeks or month or 2 months ago, good or bad, we know that everything that we want is still right in front of us. So just keep going out and doing what we're doing and working each day and, trying to get after it. So the psyche's good, and we're excited for the finish here.
The cool thing about baseball, guys, is you guys almost work in day-tight compartments, and once a game's over with, you file it away pretty quickly. You move on to the next one, and that's different than other sports where sometimes they'll hang on to them and
Sure.
It'll drive them crazy. Were you born that way, or do you have to develop that sense of letting it go?
I think as you're in this game, you develop it. But some personalities are different than others. Some hold on to it. Or let go of it a little bit quicker than others. But that's the beautiful part about baseball. You get a chance to play more, and if you have a tough one on Friday, like at Oklahoma State, the best thing that could have happened for us was playing again the next day instead of having 6 days to think about
right.
Your next game. So the guys responded well to that, and we took the series. But yeah, it's a crazy psychological warfare with this game of baseball.
Do you, though, as you're working in those day-tight compartments and worried about the next game, do you allow yourself to sort of peek ahead and say, okay, here's what here's what's happening around the league, here's where we stand right now, here's what we've got left? Do you allow yourself to do that?
I think you have to a little bit. We preach to our guys, being where their feet are, staying present as best they can. But from a coaching standpoint and a preparation standpoint, I think you have to look ahead a little bit just in terms of, like I said, preparing.
Yeah.
From a record standpoint and standings, you'll look at it, but in terms of thinking too far ahead, it doesn't do you any good. So, but I think from a preparation standpoint, it's awesome to do.
We had Bill Mosiello, Coach Mo was in that chair a couple of weeks ago.
He's the guru.
Yeah. Well, he said something, and as soon as he said it, I said I got to get JD on. Because he said something that I had not put together when it comes to college baseball, which is different than college football and college basketball. And that is, he said, you want to stay young. You want your college baseball team to stay young. Whereas if you're around football and basketball, especially basketball guys, they go, we got to get old, got to stay old. That puts a lot of heat on the recruiting coordinator.
Sure.
So if you're going to stay young, those young guys have to be better and better and better every year, don't they?
You got to have some Braden Taylors and Nunez's and Boyers that are getting significant playing time as freshmen,
right.
With a mix of, some older guys on that group last year. But, I think, the younger you can stay, like Coach Mo said, you just know, like, hey, we're going to have a Braden Taylor type player for, 2-3 years, depending on, their draft year. But, you kind of know a little bit more than, with those younger guys moving forward, so you can plan a little bit better.
Not only do you have game day responsibility, but if folks don't know, John, you live on the road. You recruit heavy, you travel a lot. Give us some sense about how that process works in college baseball, and what does that entail for you?
I think we could probably have about 6 segments
just
on that, but a lot of travel, like you said, and our staff does an unbelievable job. Everybody pitches in, the recruiting coordinator title. It is just that, just a title. Everybody pulls, the same end of the rope, and, we all do, the same amount of work. But a lot of time on the road, and you're going out and you're watching whether it's 8th graders, or 12th graders. That's the crazy dynamic of our recruiting cycle, and totally different than football and basketball in terms of going in later on a kid. Now, it just kind of depends on your class and where you're at and what happens. And now with the transfer portal, kids are decommitting from their current university, or they're decommitting before they even get to that school. So you may go watch a game and every single kid on the field is committed, but you better take notes on them, because at some point that kid going to school A, B, or C might decommit, and you better know who he is and what he's about, and that way you can either get in the mix or not in the mix. So we're in a crazy time with, I think, college recruiting, especially with NIL getting more involved now. But we're still about finding the right kids, the right fit, whether it's making a decision as a freshman or as a junior. It all kind of depends on their time frame and ours, if we feel comfortable or not. But we're trying to get to know these kids and these families as best we can, and you have to go out and see them and get them on campus and come to camp, et cetera, just so you have that rapport to where you feel comfortable making a decision.
Will college baseball, and maybe a better question is specifically, will TCU baseball remain a program that recruits high schoolers? And the reason I bring that up is you look around the country, and there are programs in different sports where they've become strictly portal recruiters. That's it. Will high school baseball still be important to TCU baseball?
100%. In a perfect world for us, we would have all high school kids. Good. Will it happen? No, because you're going to have to supplement, losing a few juniors in the draft, et cetera. So you might have to get a grad transfer, a JUCO kid.
Right.
But in a perfect world for us, we would have the majority of our roster from going back to your point, staying young. Okay, we get these kids; they have less habits when we get the high school kid. Okay, the habits of the JUCO kid may not be bad, but they just have habits that we have to get out of them because they played collegiately for 1, 2, 3 years, whatever it is. So, high school recruiting will be extremely important for us moving forward.
Baseball is important to you, especially right now, this time of year. But give us some sense. What does John Dilarua do outside of baseball? What are you into?
When we have some free time, golf, bowl, relax.
Bowl. Now that's interesting.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have mentioned that.
Yeah, I like that though.
Well, I grew up in Michigan.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's in the family. Dad, that was kind of his profession growing up.
Yeah.
And, I was kind of always around it. Just kind of did it as a hobby, and
right.
Then, competitively a little bit. But
yeah.
When I go back home in the winter, I'll bowl. If I'm down here and I have free time, I'll golf.
Are you in a league here?
Bowling league? No.
Yeah.
No. I'd be too embarrassed to. But
What number are you throwing up right now? What would be your average?
I'm in the 220s probably.
That's pretty solid. Now it runs in the family, of course, but still.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's not bad. I saw something the other day on television about it was bowling, but it was with a smaller ball.
Feather bowling, or
candlestick bowling,
yeah.
Yes, with a different pin and a different ball, but that's just in certain regions of the country, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I haven't really gotten into that. So
now, do you go fingers in or no?
Yes, fingers and thumb.
Fingers and thumb.
A lot of bowlers now are.
The new ones are they don't even put either in.
Yeah, they'll put the 2 fingers in.
They'll just go 2 fingers.
Yeah. You'll get more spin out of it.
So. Right. You have the wrist thing.
I do not.
You don't wear the wrist guard?
Ernie McCracken wrist guard.
Yeah, you don't wear the wrist guard?
I do not.
Now, is your shirt always untucked when you bowl?
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, a bowling shirt cannot be tucked in.
It's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's got
to have some range of motion down there.
Yeah, so. you got to look good, man.
That's right.
Good to have you here, man.
Appreciate you.
Glad you came by. Seriously, looking forward to how this thing ends up this year. It's going to be fun down the stretch. Don't you think?
Good deal. Yes, sir.
I think it's going to be great. John Dilarua joining us here.